Hello from paradise, where I am spending Christmas with my family, relaxing and bathing in the energy of an Aphrodite, the goddess of the ocean. And to answer one of the few questions that you keep on sending me, how to deal with fear. How do I know when fear is something energizing, something which I should transform into taking a little risk and daring? Or how do I know that fear is something to protect me and that I should stop on time? Very interesting question. Well, I would start with sharing what my grandmother always told me. It has to excite you a lot and scare you a bit. So as long as it's scary a little bit, that it's not overwhelming, it's okay. How do I know that? Well, personally, I think the best way is to go to the body. Our body is the best source of knowledge that we can have, because it's all about alignment. It means it's something when I think about in my head, when I connect with in my heart, and when I connect with in my belly, there is alignment. It all feels okay. But how do I know this alignment when I am, for example, overwhelmed by fear, and then I have like a kind of trouble to have clarity between these three? Well, I will turn it around and then I would start looking at the shadows. The shadows, for the ones who are used to work with my method, the Divine Nine Dance Therapy, I always work with the shadows and the lights of the goddesses. Every goddess, I work with 9 goddesses archetypes, and every goddess has her lights and her shadows. So the art is to transform the shadow of the fear into the light. If I get into the archetypes, then I would look at it from different perspectives. I will give you an example. I am here following also a diving course with my son. I had a diving course long time ago, but I'm redoing it again with my son. And then in this introduction course, the instructor was very much talking about the risks. The risk, like if you are down there 30 meters down and then you don't have air, what do you do? If you are with a buddy, so you always dive together, and then your buddy is having difficulty to breathe like this, what do you do? If one of the tubes breaks, what do you do? If your material doesn't work, how do you deal with it, etc., etc., etc. And then at a certain point he got the feedback from one of the participants, yeah, but if I continue like this, then I wouldn't even dare to dive, because it's all about if, it's like it's a nightmare. And then I cannot enjoy the experience anymore. And then his answer was, we are learning based on risicos, because if we can be prepared for the risks and we can manage the risks when they arrive, then that's the guarantee to be able to dive in a relaxed way and to enjoy the ride. This is exactly the point. And in terms of archetypes, the archetype here who wants to enjoy the ride is the archetype of Aphrodite. She likes to have pleasure, she likes to have fun. It's the archetype who likes to be peaceful and relaxed is the light of the archetype of Hestia. The Hestia is the goddess of the inner world and the inner peace. But at the same time, there is the archetype of Artemis. Artemis, she's the goddess of action, of doing. She's a sportive. She likes to be physical. She likes to be on top of it and to master the process. That's her light. And there is also, especially here, the archetype of Athena. Athena, she's the goddess of the logical thinking, who is always prepared with scenario A, B, C. Now, the shadow is, indeed, if we are too much into only this preparation and the risks and the analysis, then we are so much busy with that aspect that we lose the notion of pleasure, because then we get too much into the head. We are not anymore enjoying the experience. So how to have this balance between the archetype of Athena, the logical thinking, who likes to have things organized into the head without going too much into the shadow, where I get so much into analytical that I lose my pleasure, but also to keep the light of Aphrodite, who likes to have the pleasure, but without getting lost into like le petit chaperon rouge, red hat, and the wolf in the woods, where she's so much playing and going behind the butterflies that she loses the notion of time and she becomes an easy target to the wolf. How to have the balance between this? Well, it's one of the best guarantees, I think, is first of all to go into the body. What does my body say about all these things? When is my body into the zone of being careful without becoming obsessive, or without becoming compulsive? Where do I make sure that I analyze the risks without becoming paralyzed by fear? Because this is also the shadow of too much analysis. At a certain point, I get paralyzed. I don't do anything anymore. I think one of the main things is to get into the body, but how do I get into the body when my whole body, for example, is completely frozen, that I don't even feel anything because it's completely shut down? Then I would say to go to the pain. Where does it hurt? And personally, the way I do it is I would take few days, at least usually 7 days, where I would only dive, literally, I am doing a diving course here, into my body, into the sensation of discomfort. When I think about the situation, does it produce, I close my eyes and then I start doing my movements, divine nine dance, especially the snake. And then I would think, when I would think about the situation, does it create comfort or discomfort in my body, without analyzing too much? My body, comfort or discomfort? And then where, if I feel this discomfort, where is it? Is it in my throat? Is it in my chest? Is it in my upper belly? Is it in my lower belly? Is it in my legs? Is it in my shoulders? Where? And I started giving it more and more and more attention. And then from there, I amplify the emotion which is related to this part of the body. What is the emotion that I feel? Sometimes it's so overwhelming that I don't even know what is the emotion. So it's very interesting to go to the emotions. And then here I would refer to the Divine Nine emotions map, where you have different emotions from the emotions which makes us feel frozen, such as fear and shame and guilt and humiliation and worries, and to little by little through the anger, through the acceptance, until we reach the emotions of joy. And the thing which is amazing is that knowledge already, and accepting that this is the situation where I am at the moment, is half of the solution. And from there you can start dancing the solution. So especially there are certain movements which are related to water movements, but also fire movements, that I personally use in my whole body to get myself out of these the situation of discomfort, and then start looking for the solution, not with my head but with my body, but always to stay close to myself, to acknowledge the discomfort, because the discomfort, and then to enter, especially for example here we are talking about fear, the emotion of fear. This fear, is it a fear because I don't dare, or is it a fear that wants to protect me from danger? C'est très 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 important to make the difference between the two. And how do I make the difference? Not with my head. I mean, of course, I can make an analysis and what are the pros and what are the contre, and make an evaluation and then compare both. That's all mental work, which is very essential. But at the end, what matters is the body, because the body doesn't lie. The body does not lie. What does my body say about this situation? What is the message that my body is giving me? Shall I stay in this situation and then face my fear and go through it and then transform the fear into excitement. Like my grandmother used to say, it has to excite you a lot and scares you a bit, that I take the fear and then transform it into excitement and then keep on going and then go to a next level, a higher level? Or is it a fear that tells me, forget it, just get out of this as soon as possible, because it will only get worse? And the body, trust me and believe me, our body knows. It's just that we did not develop language of the body, and we did not learn to trust the body. I will tell you more about this, but in meanwhile, keep an eye on my social media and also on my newsletter. That's the best. Subscribe for the newsletter. Then I will give you more private films with specific also processes, how to deal with this. And of course, you are very welcome to send me your questions by email. So inscribe on my newsletters and then send me by email. That's the best, where you can also give me a case study, show me, tell me about the situation in your life where you feel stuck, and then I will do my best to help you, especially with the Divine Nine Dance Therapy, to de-stuck you. And then I can make a live session about it, and then I can answer all your questions. I am very much looking forward to your questions. I say hello from paradise. I show you. Ta-ta-ra-ta-ta. It's amazing here. Every year, my love takes me to paradise. Every year he says, darling, where shall I take you? And then I say, darling, take me to paradise. And darling does take me again and again and again to paradise. Merci, my love. Talk to you soon. Ciao, ciao.